AMD Cloud Chronicles in association with CNBC-TV18.com.
Hello and welcome to the AMD and CNBC-TV18.com present the Cloud Chronicles. AMD is an undisputed leader in high-performance computing and collaborates closely with its partners to provide advanced hardware and software platforms that drive innovation to solve real-world challenges. In fact, the company also invests heavily in research and development to meet the evolving needs of modern businesses by developing breakthrough cloud computing components, products and apps. And clearly, cloud computing is the need of the hour. Cloud adoption has been surging across industries, and in the BFSI sector particularly, companies seek scalability, agility and security. While 90% of BFSI companies have adopted cloud services, challenges like regulatory compliance, data security and legacy system integration continue to persist. And as per experts, to ensure a seamless cloud journey, organizations must prioritize robust security measures with regulatory adherence and strategic integration of modern and legacy systems. And that is a theme for the show. I'm now joined by Mr. Dominic Vijay Kumar, Senior VP and CTO at Art Housing Finance. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, ma'am.
So what we wanted to understand is how you as an organization are really balancing security and costs, and what are your strategies for success?
There are two things to it. It all depends on the kind of business we do. Since I come from a typical BFSI segment and NBFC, which is a regulated organization, for us security becomes the topmost priority, compliance, security and data important. So that's where we look at cloud compute as one of our solutions, because what happens when you have a cloud computing, your capex doesn't get involved much. Whereas in a cloud compute, more work on operating costs. So you pay as you use. So that's how we do it. And security we maintain in such a way that both physical and the logical security. Data security is very important for us because we carry a lot of customers' data right from their KYC, and everything is there with us. So we are solely responsible for their privacy and holding it. And we are directly guarded by the guarded by the regulator, where we are supposed to submit all the reports to them on and before. And for an organization like us, cloud journey is always an helping hand to us. So sensitiveness of the data, right from masking, encryption, database level, that has been at every stage we maintain. That is, as I say, data in motion and data in rest has been encrypted, and it's my duty to take care of it. That's how the team has been built. So we are very, very crucial on that.
So how important are the make and specifications of the processor, while choosing the right cloud computing solution?
So when you look at as I said, computing is very, very important for us. Any application, any business has to run, it has to have proper computes. So for that compute, we start choosing the processor. Processors again depends on the kind of, like when I go back to the books and see trillion processors, microprocessors are built on a processor. So it all depends on what kind of processor you are going to use, how it's going to, it's not only the processing speed, it has to even support the GPU also, basically the graphical interface, the kind of capacity it has been. So right now, some of my VMs, what I use is I use AMD as some of my processors, where I find, because we are doing Aadhaar masking is one of the topmost example which I give, where I build the VMs on AMD processors, so that the performance based, the data which is supposed to be completed in 90 days, we are trying to crunch it by 60 days. So we are using these processors.
Tell us, how important are the make and specifications of the processor when you're considering a cloud computing solution?
See, here we have to be a little bit very cautious, because compute plays a very important role when you are accessing any application during the peak time, during your non-peak time. We were very keen on having we work on the virtual environment. So virtual environment, again, it is upgraded, the processor speeds have been all looked at. So we are considered AMD as one of the processors for us, keeping in mind the kind of the GPU output it's been giving, the graphical interface it's been using for us. That's how we consider. But AMD is now which has been brought in. So we are very keen on the compute speed. Compute is very important for us. So we look at the processor from all the angles, it's at the peak time, non-peak time, and the kind of processor it's been, the capacity it can hold for us. It shouldn't be like, it goes at a peak time and then crashes off. And that's what we considered, parameters is very, very clean for it. There's a checklist which has been maintained, and we go as per the parameters.
So in your mind, the processors powering the cloud VMs are a very critical factor.
Very, very critical, because your applications are hosted there. You're hosted somewhere in Mumbai and you're accessing applications sitting in Rajasthan, and you need to have a sufficient amount of, because at one point of time you'll have 100 people hitting the server. So your compute should be sufficient to give your output out.
What's your take on choosing the right cloud computing solution, especially when you're referring to the balance between security and costs?
First priority is security. That's where top, because obviously that nothing comes without a cost. So again, it all depends on the cost comes. If your numbers are more, you can always have better commercials. If your numbers are less, obviously you go to pay. And when you try compromising on the commercial cost, you tend to compromise on your security, which is going to be a disaster for us. So that shouldn't be there. You should always have a proper balance between the cost and the requirement. And cost is always something which you can recover it in the longer, because when you look at the ROI over a period of time, you can always get your ROI back.
Right. So you were discussing, public cloud, private cloud, and of course there's hybrid. So a multi-cloud approach is now becoming very popular.
Yes.
But that of course comes with its own security costs, its own challenges. So again, at Art Housing Finance, have you explored the multi-cloud approach, and how do you manage again security and costs in a multi-cloud environment?
Right now, in my organization, we are not gone for a multi-cloud. As of now, we are on a public cloud. But yes, we have already started working on building our hybrid cloud model, where the customer-facing applications will be more on a public cloud, where the usage is more and no much of data security is there, risk is there. But when it comes to core lending systems, where you carry the complete life cycle of a journey of a customer and the data and all that, that will be more built on a private cloud. So we try to bring, because private cloud is always at a higher cost when you compare with this one. So this cost manager, when I put my certain applications on my public cloud, I can always compensate with my private cloud cost. So I see what importance of my servers, which are my applications which is supposed to be within my control, which is supposed to be on a public facing, customer facing. We bring that, and that gap is always filled. And yes, there will always nominal increase in your financials as we grow, because again, compromising on the cost is like compromising on the security.
Which one cannot
be. Which
afford.
cannot be.
Yeah. Sure. Thank you so much, Dominic, for sharing your valuable insights. And clearly, organizations can prioritize to protect sensitive data by leveraging the cost efficiencies and scalability that cloud solutions can offer. Art Housing Finance has shared its strategies for success in balancing security and costs in cloud adoption. And clearly, that requires a strategic approach that considers both current and future needs. That's it from all of us, and thanks for watching.
AMD Cloud Chronicles in association with CNBC-TV18.com.